Library of Heaven's Path. Chapter 51. Heaven's Path Golden Body. By the corner, books are stacked densely on the bookshelves and they are all on cultivation techniques and related subjects. There are manuals on Fighter 1 Dan, 2 Dan, 3 Dan and 4 Dan. Similar to Haotian Academy, the higher the tier is, the less the number of books there are on it. As for Fighter 6 Dan manuals, there are only about 10 books or so on it. The number of books may be few, but it beats having none at all. Initially, he thought that it would be like the Compendium Pavilion and that he would be able to find a few hundred or even 1,000 books here for his choosing. Now, it is clear to see that he is overthinking it. However, after pondering over it for a moment, the reason for the difference between the two becomes apparent to him. Everyone has a different physique, and thus the suitable cultivation technique for them differs from one individual to the other. Thus, it is clear that the Academy would require a huge amount of secret manuals and books so as to ensure that there are sufficient resources for the teachers to cater to the needs of their students, as well as to expand their horizons. However, for an individual, they only require 1 or 2 cultivation techniques suited for them. It is already considered a huge collection for Lu Chen to have over 10 books on Fighter 6 Dan cultivation techniques. Casually picking up the 10 books, he flips through them lightly, hualala, and corresponding secret manuals appear in his mind. Why are these cultivation techniques too inferior to appeal to you? Seeing the youngster pick those books up, flip through them and put them down before taking a good look at the contents, Master Lu Chen is slightly bewildered. That's not it. I am just taking a casual look. Zhang Xuan shakes his head. Scanning the surrounding once again, he affirms that there are only these few books in here. Just as he is about to take his leave from the study, he suddenly catches sight of a pile of manuals placed not too far away from his current position. Curious, he asks, "These are?" "Oh, these are left behind by that disappointing son of mine." He likes brute strength, so he collected quite a few secret manuals on enhancing one's physical strength. In fact, he even went to the kingdom's book collection vault and moved all related books here. Master Lu Chen smiles bitterly. In the cultivation of a fighter, Zhengqi is the most important factor of all. One's physical body only plays a small role in it, and it is not worth mentioning at all. Zhengqi to true essence. Although there is the Pigu realm which tempers one's skin and bones in a fighter's cultivation, what truly matters is still Zhengqi. Only when one's Zhengqi is pure and concentrated can they be truly strong. In the eyes of most cultivators, the physical body is just an auxiliary tool to one's strength, and is of little importance. Can I take a look? Seeing the thousands of secret manuals on heightening the strength of one's physical body, Zhang Xuan feels a little moved. Thus, he can't resist the urge to ask Master Lu Chen for permission to browse through them. He possesses the Library of Heaven's Path, so he doesn't need the cultivation techniques in his possession to be profound. With sufficient quantity, he is able to extract the essence of each to authenticate the true and the false and distill the truly useful portions from each of them. Even though training one's physical body may seem to be unimportant, and it may be unable to allow one's strength to soar up rapidly, if there are this many books to correct the errors and point out the correct path, the effects might turn out to be significant. Anyway, he doesn't have sufficient books in his hands on 6 Dan cultivation technique for him to raise his cultivation realm, so he might as well flip through these first. Perhaps, he might even get some pointers on it from the information contained within them. Little brother, feel free. Master Lu Chen smiles. Since he had already brought him in, he wouldn't be stingy about it allowing him to browse through the books. I will be impertinent then. Zhang Xuan nods his head and walks over to the pile of manuals. Just like before, he casually flips through them. Hualala, hualala. He is. Looking at his actions by the side, Master Lu Chen is bewildered. I thought that he wanted to read the books. What is he doing, flipping through them like that? Could it be that these books do not fit his taste? That makes sense though. Given how he is trying to look for Fighter 6 Dan cultivation techniques, he is probably already at Fighter 5 Dan pinnacle. Given his current strength, he has already undergone the Pigu realm, and it matters not whether he trains his physical body or not. Perhaps, he might be browsing through them out of curiosity. Coming to a realization, he no longer bothers about it. Casually picking up a treasured painting left behind by a master, he examines it attentively. Zhang Xuan finishes flipping through that pile of physical body enhancement techniques within 10 minutes or so. The correct cultivation method. Thousands of manuals appear in the library. Zhang Xuan's mind jolts and light envelops his sight. Then, a flawless manual appears in his mind. Similar to the cultivation technique manuals from before, the book contains the perfect sequence of the correct methods recorded in the thousands of books. Let me take a look. Flipping over the cover, a line of words assaults him and enters his mind. Junqi is reminiscent of water, whereas the physical body is the bucket containing the water. With a sturdy bucket, one can fill more water, and the quality of which would be higher. The opening verse causes him to feel enlightened. That's right. Zhang Xuan's eyes light up. Previously, his thoughts were like the others. He felt that it is of no importance whether he cultivates his physical body or not, what truly matters is his Junqi cultivation. Only upon reading this does he realize how shallow his thinking was. If one loses their skin, where can their hairs lodge into? The same goes for the relationship between Junqi and one's physical body. Only a powerful physical body is capable of withstanding violent Junqi strength to exert even greater prowess. Feeling as though a door has just opened before him, Zhang Xuan can't resist the urge to read on. The more he reads, the more exhilarated he feels. The Junqi within his body subconsciously follows the method recorded in the book and flows continuously. Geji. Geji. Under the flow of Junqi, his physical body, which wasn't weak from the start, evolves once again. His muscle fibers thicken and his skin membrane becomes more sturdy. His body evolves towards a much more correct and rational path. Kacha. Kacha. As his mind is absorbed in the explanations contained within the book, Zhang Xuan isn't aware of the astounding changes that are occurring within his physical body. It is as though an infrastructure has been washed with molten metal. His body is gradually becoming a powerful weapon that surpasses that of ordinary humans. As expected of a technique filtered by the library, it is indeed formidable. From now on, I will call this Heaven's Path Golden Body. An hour later, Zhang Xuan finally finishes his book. His Junqi has also circulated a single time through his body according to the methods recorded in the book. Wang. After he finishes naming the book glows radiantly and 4 large words appear on the cover of the book: Heaven's Path Golden Body. In the future, I will have to make sure to train in it properly. I am already done training. After finishing the book, just when he has decided to cultivate using the methods recorded on it after returning, he realizes that he had unknowingly completed the cultivation of this body enhancement technique while looking through it. That is to say, he has mastered this body enhancement cultivation technique. There are no errors in the cultivation techniques of Heaven's Path, thus the pace of training is swift. Even though I knew this beforehand, never would have I expected that I would be able to master Heaven's Path Golden Body unknowingly like this. With the experience from Heaven's Path Divine Art, he knows that a flawless cultivation technique is much more effective and allows one to cultivate at an extremely rapid speed, thus he had expected the cultivation of the Heaven's Path Golden Body to not be too difficult as well. Just that, he never imagined that he would complete the cultivation just by reading through the contents of it once. At this moment, he doesn't know whether he should laugh or cry. Forget it. Even though I wasn't able to find sufficient fighters 6 Dan cultivation techniques, my strength should have increased significantly with this set of physical body enhancement cultivation technique. Coming to Master Lu Chen's house, he might not have accomplished his objective of finding sufficient fighters 6 Dan cultivation techniques, but in exchange, he received the Heaven's Path Golden Body, so it is still a meaningful trip. Just that, the physical body is different from Junqi. Junqi can be easily quantified and it isn't difficult to gauge how much strength one possesses after one is done with one's training. On the other hand, muscles are hidden beneath the skin, so it is hard to measure one's improvement clearly. That's to say, even though he has mastered Heaven's Path Golden Body, he has no idea how strong he has grown, or even whether his physical body had grown stronger or not. Of course, this isn't important. Since he has successfully completed his cultivation of it, he can simply find a strength measuring rock pillar when he returns to test his strength. What is little brother Zhang Xuan doing? At this moment, Master Lu Chen, who accompanied him here, has his mind filled with question marks. While reading his book, he sneaked glances towards the other party occasionally. After flipping through the manuals, this fellow has been standing on the spot without moving at all for 2 whole hours by now. What the heck is he doing? Could it be that he has read too many books and went berserk? It isn't like this kind of situation has never happened before. In the past, there was an extremely talented genius in Xuanhuan Kingdom. The cultivation techniques and battle techniques that took other people 2 to 3 years to learn, he only took 2 to 3 days. This is precisely the reason why he wanted to learn all of the cultivation techniques and battle techniques to piece them together so as to create a set of new skills. In the end, before a new mystical cultivation technique could be born, he went berserk. The youngster before him was able to raise his level of cultivation to Fighter 5 Dan Pinnacle at such a young age. At the same time, he possesses a master-level competency in painting. Could it be that, just like that senior, he got greedy and some problems popped up within him? Little brother. Filled with suspicions, he can't hold it in any longer. Thus, he steps forward and tries to interrupt Zhang Xuan's thoughts to prevent him from sinking in even deeper. Just as Zhang Xuan is impressed over the might of the Heaven's Path divine art, he hears a shout, and following which, a palm nudges his body. Oh, Master Lu Chen. Returning back to his consciousness, he hurriedly turns around and his shoulders accidentally bump into the ladder. Pung! A deep echo and Master Lu Chen is sent flying instantaneously. His back knocks onto a bookshelf, and the books scatter on the floor. If you find any errors, please let us know in the comments below so we can fix it as soon as possible. Also, like and subscribe to our channel to get notified of the latest chapter release.